All right, welcome everybody to our I Will podcast. It's our kicking off of our virtual events for the I Will movement. Those of you that are like, what is the I Will movement? So you know that a year ago we started the International Women in Leadership Group, and we've had this ongoing series called Be the CEO of Your Life, right? And who am I? So I'm the founder. My name is Regina Batista, and my theme and like my quote and what I have followed throughout all my life is to be the change you wish to see in the world. It starts with you. That has been sort of like my guide in every situation that I've been in. But we have something very special for you guys this month. But we'd love to first share our website for those of you that don't know us and are joining us for the first time. Please go ahead and scan the QR code that you see there on the screen. We're also going to put the web link for our site on the chat for those of you that want to follow us and want to see our upcoming events. So for the month of April, the theme is a very special challenge that we have for you guys. If we want to go to the next slide. So do you know what the theme for April is, Fatima?
Tell me.
It is, I will reinvent myself. So in the I Will movement, which is sort of the brand of International Women in Leadership, we have a different theme every month. And we want to be able to sort of reach out to a broad community. It's not just for women, right? Even though that's our core, because men are also welcome. And the theme this month is something very dear and special to me, which is reinvention. We know that there's a lot of you out there, me, myself included, that have been going through a lot of challenges in the past year, whether you're looking to reinvent yourself in your career, whether you've lost a job, you're looking for a job, whether you're in a new relationship, whether we're trying to reinvent our personal lifestyle or our health. There's so many different things that we have as women, right, that challenge us in our lives. And so I want to make sure that we're very clear and we motivate and support each other that at any point in time, regardless of our age, and we've got Tim's mother there, right? Regardless of our age, that we can reinvent ourselves at any point in time, right? And the older I've gotten, the shorter that time span of reinventing myself has become. Like before it was like, oh, I would reinvent myself like every 10 years. Now it's like every couple of years. Why? Because the world is changing around us. Our situations might be changing. And so our goal in International Women in Leadership in the I Will movement is to build a support system for all of you to be able to come and learn and share your stories and share your challenges and know that we're not alone. That's the main thing. But one of our special, very, very special events that we have, we're going to try to do this monthly, is our I Will podcast. And I would love to introduce, we have Fatima Rosa here. She is our founder from the Face Bra and Beauty Bar. And Rick, a minute ago, showed you guys a video of this amazing location. And there you go. We're kind of showing a little bit of her website. We're doing something very special this time. It's my first time doing like a live streaming from a live location. Amazing. So I'm very excited.
Excited to be the first.
Thank you so much, Fatima. So let's go ahead and get started because I know you guys want to hear her talk more than me. So Fatima, where are you from and where were you raised?
Okay, that's a loaded question.
Mm-hmm.
I was born and raised in Canada. So just outside of Toronto is where I grew up and spent most of my life until Miami. In terms of like my background and a little louder.
Yeah, you can actually hold it if you do it. Yeah. Can you guys hear her okay?
A little bit better?
Yeah, thank you.
So my parents were actually born in East Africa.
Oh, nice.
And there was a military coup in the early 70s. And then my parents, they didn't know each other there. My mom spent about 10 years in London. My dad sometime in New Zealand before he came to Canada, where there was more opportunity for him. New Zealand's really tiny. There wasn't a lot going on. Mm-hmm. And happenstance, my mom met my dad in Canada on a visit. And so, you're talking about reinvention, and before I was even born, my parents had to reinvent themselves quite a few times. They didn't get to finish college, so whatever skill set they had, they were applying to their, possible job opportunities, and then ended up kind of reinventing themselves again when they got together in Canada and starting their own businesses. So that's where my entrepreneurial journey started a little bit before me.
Nice. And we're in Canada because we have some folks from Canada on the line as well.
So Toronto area, I went to school at the University of Toronto as well, and I grew up just outside. So for the Canadians, if you know Oshawa, Ontario, a little tiny town out east, that's where I was born.
Now, that's really cold. I have visited that area. Oh my God, very different than Miami, right?
Well, summertime seems to sync up, but about October, November until I would say about now, you don't want to make that your first visit. It gets cold.
When did you move to the States, Fatima?
I moved here in 2010, and we're again reinvention. It's a perfect theme for me. So I was ready for a change in my life. I had been working for corporate in a few different companies. The latest was John Hancock, so in mutual funds, 401ks, and I needed something different. I always had the entrepreneurial spirit. I wanted to start something of my own rather than helping my parents' businesses. And so I decided that Miami was a great spot to reinvent myself, to have better weather, and start my new business.
Amazing. And what type of businesses did your parents have? That would be interesting to find out.
They went, I'm trying to think of like past businesses. So they've had different food businesses. They had an arcade kind of gaming type of business. And even now, so they still have restaurants and other food service and catering, and then real estate now. A little more passive as they get older.
No, so they were definitely business people.
Yes.
Like, and pretty diverse businesses, which is really interesting.
I think so.
You get that innovation and hard work characteristics from them?
100%. My father is one of my best role models in terms of just work ethic and how to stand out. And even when I graduated, I remember saying, okay, like I'm ready to join the family business. And he's like, no, you need to go work some corporate jobs. You need to know what it feels like to be a small number in a company, to have managers above you, to also maybe have teams that you'll manage at some point and get that full experience. He's like, you have the opportunity that I did not, and you don't have to fill in the gaps. You'll just learn those things before you decide to do something of your own. And really, really great advice, because even in my journey now and when I started and then had people working for me, I drew on those experiences from managers that I had that I loved, and I loved their management style or how they conducted their meetings. And also, you know what you don't like. Mm-hmm. So you kind of remove some of that. And I think that was like a nice way for me to have that rounded experience before kind of diving into it and making things feel structured in some ways like corporate, but also a little more at ease with like the flexibility of small business.
When did you know it was time for you to pivot after you had been working in corporate for a couple of years? What made you say, okay, this is the right time, I'm done with this and I'm ready to start on my own?
I had the itch for a while, I will say. Working in corporate was nice, and I loved my teams, my managers, but also I felt that I would put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy. And while I loved it, I thought, imagine I could do that for myself. So that was the big part, like the itch. And of course, growing up in that environment, you really see like my dad had an idea or a way he wanted to do things, or my mom thought like, this is the way I want to run my business. They had that freedom to just do what they wanted in that way. So that was, the second part of it for me. And then third, in a personal way, I was able to see that my relationship and my marriage at the time was not working out. And this was my clean break, if you will. And moving to a new country helped me kind of sever that tie, but also get to grow a little bit on my own after not being alone for so long.
So I love the fact that you said after working in corporate and doing all this hard work, right, for other people, you know, that you kind of want to do it for yourself. And I know that a lot of the folks on the line, we can relate to that, right? Because we work very hard, we work overtime, you know, and we're building
still do.
Yeah, but we're building something great that we believe in most of the time for those of us that have worked in corporate. But now imagine the shift to do that for yourself. It's even more meaningful. And thank you so much for sharing that you also had another reinvention in your personal life, that you made a decision to start a new life in a new country. Because many times when we go through something personal, it gives us the motivation, you know, to change everything else in our life, right?
It's so true, right? When they say you're itching to get a haircut, like reinvention is coming. So this was my like chop everything.
Okay, I love it. I love it. And then, so did you come first here to Miami, or did you move someplace else?
No, Miami, I had already visited so many times. It's an easy trip from Toronto, a quick 3-hour flight. And of course, every fall, winter, spring, you want to get out of Toronto.
Uh-huh.
And so I already knew the areas. I already had my sights set on Brickell. I knew that was this growing hub. And I think that just everything fell into place, that I had this comfort here in Miami. So I didn't try anywhere else. I had my eyes set, and that was 2010. Yeah,
Okay.
where I started the move. And I kind of got lucky because where I leased my first business space, the company was actually Canadian.
Okay.
So then I got to do a lot of that paperwork and negotiation in Canada, in Toronto, before I even got here.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you got your business idea before you got here.
I started with a franchise business, actually a Canadian franchise business.
Okay.
And that was what got me. So for those who know, like with the immigration, you have to come, you know, with a valid reason. Mine was an E2 business visa. So I needed that investment. And then you have to show a certain amount of employees, and I'll check all the boxes to make sure that you're here in a valid way.
Amazing. And what was your first business?
So it was a blow dry bar.
Okay.
So for the Canadians, if you know Blow, the one with the little pink squiggles, that was me. I started. So the fun fact is, first blow dry bar in Florida. At the time when I had visited Miami previously, I knew they were missing something. I mean, like, you spend your whole day on the beach and then you have nowhere accessible or easy to get your hair done before you go out for dinner or parties. And every time we came, we thought, I don't know why they don't have blow dry bars in Miami. So the joke kind of started on vacation, where I'm going to move here and start one. And then, of course, that became the reality as I kept saying it out loud.
Okay.
And then once I moved here, I started that regulation process, like the, regulatory bodies of setting up the business, but also salon licensing. And that's when I realized they didn't have anything like this in Florida. They didn't understand a salon that only wash and blow dry hair. They said, where's your cutting things? Where are your color things, your ventilation? And I said, we don't do any of that. Remember, and they're all male regulators coming in. They're like, that's a dumb idea. But we had a lineup on day one.
That's amazing. So that's a little bit of the history. It's funny because I went to that blow dry place even before I knew her, right? And then there was the Face and Broad beauty bar next to it.
Exactly.
And I kept going to that blow dry place because we live close to each other. And I had not had the pleasure of meeting you. Quick fun fact: I actually met you for the first time through the United Way.
Yes,
I did. We have a friend in common, Jessica. And I've been a part of the United Way as well. And then she's part of the United Way. But you've been in the United Way for many, many years now.
I think it's 11 or 12 years now.
Yeah. And
thanks to Jessica.
What's the group that you run there?
Okay, so I was chair for the Small Business Executive Committee, which is a smaller group in United Way, but like-minded small business owners. And that was created a few years back to kind of segment the communities, because we have Women United, we have the Young Leaders. So this was another branch that kind of became its own entity within United Way. And it has been great in terms of networking with like-minded people, and also getting to volunteer and do fun activities, and then getting to meet you.
So how does she have time for all of that? I have no idea. But if you all definitely you've had a lot of experience as a startup. So tell me a little bit about how your business has grown in the last couple of years, because now she has a lot more than one location and she has shifted and pivoted. And we're in this beautiful space in downtown Miami, which is one of her new flagship stores.
So when I had the blow dry bar, people would always ask me, where do you get your brows done? Or who does this for you? We need a place to get our makeup done. It would go really well with the hair. And having those conversations and telling people, well, like I've just always done brows and makeup and skincare for friends, family. It's kind of my second nature. Didn't think of it as a career by any means, but people kept asking me, and I thought, wow, like they don't even have brow threading here. So this was my next chance to be first at something. Fate has it that you just keep saying, like, I'm going to do this. And I remember the Christmas Eve that the business next to me, they said goodbye. We wished each other, and then they never came back. So the space became vacant. I requested, the opportunity to take it over. And that's where Face Brow and Beauty Bar was born. So we're in our 12th year now. First place in Miami to offer brow threading, and then brow services, facials, lash lifts, things like that. We say everything from the neck up. And then we had like a growth period there, but it was nice having both of the businesses because I could just funnel clients from one and into the other and say, hey, like you've been asking for these things. Here you go, hand it to you. And from there, we grew, add more services. And what I will say is that many years later, after selling the blow dry bar, I decided that I would expand this brand as it's my own. It's not a franchise, right? So in the franchise world, you have to adhere to the way they do things, their systems, their retail, their policies. Everything in that way is dictated. You don't have a lot of freedom and creativity. So this was so much more fun, so much more me. I ended up getting my license while we were doing the build out to be a licensed esthetician. And then I loved it so much. I was happy to let the other one go and then focus on this brand. And I will say one thing I wish I had done sooner was expanded sooner or scaled sooner. I think the opportunity was there, but I was in a place where I was pretty content for a while. And then from there, same thing. I think sometimes you're ready, so the doors open, and there was a salon going out of business in Midtown, and it was already built out, and they said, we need someone to take over the lease. So I was able to just kind of move in there, a light cosmetic redo. And then from there, we found this location, and it's like they get bigger and bigger every time.
Yeah.
So
this one's actually 2 stories. We'll have Rick show another tour in a little bit, but it's actually 2 stories. It's a beautiful location.
It's beautiful. It's nice to be here. It's so airy, and it just really has that luxury feel, but still like true to who we are, which has always been a friendly neighborhood kind of, we're your friend, and it's not pretentious. You can come in here after a sweaty yoga class. You can walk in and have a bad day, and we're going to turn it around. And I feel that even though this space is so expansive, we still get to bring that like closeness to people.
Amazing. So your ideal customer is who?
Well, we had an ideal, like a really sort of shortlisted avatar when we started, but I will say it has grown. So, ideal, we have, I would say, a professional woman. And I used to say young, but you know what? It's kind of anywhere from 20 to, some of my favorite clients are in their 70s, and there are day ones. And it's really about people who want to feel confident, and confident meaning like naturally in terms of, we don't do medical. So like Botox filler and, that's another journey, but we really try to bring out the best for each individual in a customized way so that they feel, okay, that was attentive to them, but they feel confident when they walk out, better when they walk out.
I love it.
And I think that, it has varied because we have our moms, we have our young professionals, we have almost 30% male clientele, especially in Brickell.
Good.
So everyone is really paying attention because I firmly believe that when you look good, you feel good. And we all know when we feel good, everything is better, easier, we perform better. So for me, that's always been the goal, is just really feeling put together and at this point, it can be a kind of a larger range of people.
I love it because a lot of us work with like defining like the customer experience in our different industries that we work in, right? And identifying that persona. So I know that's always a great question to ask, and especially you as an owner to know who your customer is, and you can really tell that you have that passion for it, which is great. From the startup perspective, she's like the expert, guys. I would ask, how was your financial support, right? And what were some of your biggest challenges, like the whole financial process, and what were some of the biggest challenges also in the process of starting your startup? It's two separate questions.
Well,
Yeah.
yes. When you move from another country, you start with zero credit. So there was no credit card, no loan, no anything available to me. Even buying a car had to be cash. So that was a challenge, but I ended up selling my home in Canada and just using savings. And I did, so from my previous company, I was lucky enough to have like shares and things like that. So I had some cushions to unravel as I needed. And that helped me do that initial investment into the business. And I will say, starting with that franchise really was such a great support system because you have less trial and error, so you're not losing money or wasting money on things that you thought would be the right thing for a business that you've never really started or done before. And they've figured that out for you. So I will say, starting with the franchise kept the financial hardships low. I didn't burn through a lot of it. And I was able to sustain that and then spend the right money in marketing, put the word out there. And I think the women here were craving this business, so it worked out in my favor. But then, moving forward, when you want to reinvest, like opening other businesses, I was able to sort of save from the first business and keep that aside, knowing, okay, I'm going to build this new brand of my own. And then fast forward to selling the first business gave me another open opportunity with capital to now reinvest in property, reinvest in another business. And then now moving forward, this one, I finally have proper established credit. I'm a citizen now. So, all of that life challenge over the last how many years. And this time I went with an SBA loan. So very different, of course, because now you have to basically give them your blood to apply. So anyone who's done an SBA loan knows what I'm talking about. It is a brutal, excruciating process. Like, you have to get insurance upon insurance for every little thing you're involved, from your build out to even yourself. Like, they take out a policy on you that you pay for just in case something happens to you in the process of your loan and your build out and then paying it back. So it's very different this time around. I have learned a lot. And I think now, whenever the next thing comes along, I know how to position myself better. And I will say, the other thing I learned in that whole process of selling a business, when you exit, like, I can't stress enough how clean your books need to be. So if anyone has something that they're looking at possibly exiting in the next 3 to 5 years, like, you clean the books now, because that has so much effect on your sale price, and also just like the length of time that it took to complete. Because I was like rushing through, like, oh no, clean this up, do the ad backs, So hand in hand, like, if you want to build something and then eventually let it go, you need to think about that so many steps before.
No, that's a great tip. And I know there may be people out there that are looking to start their own business, so we greatly appreciate that. And so you've gone through the whole gamut. I mean, from investing yourself, out of your own money, to saving money, buying a new place, and now getting a loan. Is the South Florida, I guess, process a little bit more difficult than other states, would you think? Or does it differ by county or by state?
Do you mean for the loan?
Yeah.
I think it's probably fairly standard, because even like the bank that I ended up going through is not located in the state, but they have their, branches, or but their main processing for these loans happen somewhere else. I think the biggest difference in terms of cities, counties, states is the build out process, because permitting is so much different, I think, in a larger city with a lot of like red tape and bureaucracy and even just years of old building code that you have to comply with.
A lot. Yeah.
So that to me was such a struggle because it's not like that everywhere. But in major cities, I mean, in Toronto, I've kind of seen my family go through certain things like that too, where the build out is much more difficult because of the city. But then if you go to the suburbs, it's a breeze most of the time. I can't say for everywhere, but
because she's considered in the location is like downtown, which is different than the suburbs.
yes.
So between your 3 stores, how many employees do you have now?
We are at 26 or 28.
26, 28 out of her 3 locations, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Any plans for opening up a new one? Or
Not yet.
Are you going to build a franchise?
So I've been toying with that idea. I'm not sure if that is something I would want to do solely on my own. Like I've been doing all of this as a single operator. And I think that having a great team, having a good general manager, I have an assistant, a virtual assistant, those are non-negotiables now because it really gives you that time back, but also to do what you love, because I like to be creative. I like to kind of run things in terms of working on the business, not always in the business. And, there are times you put out those like daily fires, but I think that it's so important to have the right people around you. And then sorry, going back to what you said.
No, so let me ask you. No, so you said you have about 20 something people reporting to you.
Yeah.
And so for our leadership folks out there, what would you say are your 3 most important leadership characteristics?
Ooh, okay. For me, I think personally, it's just like having a relatable side. Like I never want to be unreachable or just like sort of too removed, because in my industry, particularly, this is a very feel-good industry. This is warm and somewhat feminine. And I think that that leadership has to be warm for my staff. I feel that that's been the best way, like connecting with everyone. And I think also setting boundaries is equally important, because you don't want anyone to mistake that for being able to cross boundaries or, reaching out at the wrong times or maybe oversharing. So I think that's important too. And I think in both ways, because the same expectation that I would have for myself, I want to have for the staff. And then I would say third, I think passion. If you don't convey that you love what you do, I don't think anyone else after you can feel the same way. Like I want to come in here every day and just be so happy to see clients. Like when I see regulars, and it's just beyond seeing a familiar face. It's seeing loyalty and support over all of my years from 1 to 2 to 3. And I think that for me, like I ooze that passion, and then everyone else picks up after that.
I love it. I know that when I walk into a place, especially a place like this, like I want to feel welcomed, right?
Yes.
Because it's like I'm putting myself in their hands, right? Especially when we come to do your hair or your makeup.
Yes.
I actually came on Monday and I did my eyebrows. They did an amazing job.
They look great.
A little far away, you guys can't see it.
We have to like show it off.
Yes. I did the eyebrow threading, and I was like, oh, let me go have the experience. And then we did a little bit of a video, and Anna was amazing.
And you saw how warm and friendly she is too.
Yes. So I definitely feel that as a customer. So that's important. Let me ask you some quick fun questions here. We're gonna kind of switch it up.
Right.
Your morning must-haves. Now we're gonna get to know her personally. What are your morning must-haves?
Coffee.
Coffee.
Okay. Morning must-haves. Not in this particular order, but I do like to take 5 to 10 minutes of just quiet meditative time. And it doesn't have to be like a deep meditation, but just even reflection. Maybe there was something that happened the day before or something coming up. I just like to have silence and really process something, whatever that looks like. Vibration board.
Oh,
Love it.
is that the one that you put on the floor? Oh, I have one of those.
Are you using it?
Yes, I am. I'm trying as much as I can. After I work out, I try using it.
I feel like it's my wake up. It's my wake up, but it's really good after a workout for sure. But I feel like just you wake up, you've been lying down for however many hours of sleep. So for me, that first 10 minutes of just lymphatic drainage in the morning is like my pick me up. So I would say coffee, my little meditative time, and vibration board for me. I do a little habit stack. So that's a time where I'll put on my, LED mask, be on the vibration board, and then that might be the time where I'm answering your texts from yesterday.
Okay. Regina's like, we're meeting tomorrow. I'm going to try it in the morning too. I'm going to try that in the morning because I usually try it after my workouts. But it's supposed to be really good for your health.
Yes.
Heels or sneakers?
Sneakers.
Okay. All right. Beach or mountains?
That's a good one. I have both moods, but I would say if I had to pick one, mountains.
Mountains. What gives you the most peace?
When my daughter crawls into my bed the night before or some wee hours of the morning, and then just like that slow morning wake up with her there. Even if I leave the bed before her, it's just like 15 minutes of being conscious that she's there.
And how old is your daughter?
She's 5.
And what's her name?
Ariana.
Oh, that's a beautiful name.
Thank you.
So we want to talk a little bit about work-life balance because she's a very busy lady, but then you also have a family. How have you been able to balance that in the last couple of years? I think with everything that's been happening with your business.
So for me, balance, like there's no real equal balance, or maybe not. Balance is different in every season, I would say. I think that when I have been scaling and growing, especially right leading up to build outs and then opening, I know that there's less time for my family, but those are just crucial moments where I have to be there. And then there are other seasons where things are kind of steady flowing and I can take time to, spend more time, do the vacations, do all the extracurricular school things. So I think that it really comes down to priorities for me. And I'm lucky that, my husband's very supportive. So when I need him to pick up a little bit more than usual, he can. And we work like that with each other. He also, is self-employed. So it can be a challenge, but it can also be like a really beautiful gift of having that flexibility. And sometimes there's balances out the window and I bring her to work and she gets a lesson in entrepreneurship.
So do you think, it's great that you have that support from your husband, right? Do you think work-life balance is more difficult for women than men sometimes?
I 100% agree with the mental load that women carry. I think even when men want to try to pick up that extra slack to really be there, there's something about that maternal instinct, that maternal intuition that I firmly believe cannot be replaced. Like no matter what we do, it's hard for us to disconnect. It's hard for us to compartmentalize like my family and kid life, my husband, what's going on in business, and then just me personally, wanting to take care of myself. And sometimes that blends into each other, or maybe more than sometimes. And I think that we have this way of wanting to keep the family organized, managing the calendars like a business as well. I don't know if that's a personality trait of an entrepreneur, but I don't know if you guys agree. But for me, I manage the family calendar, manage the kid schedule, manage my business.
So I just want to say, for those of you online, she sounds like a project manager as well, right? So a lot of us have project management background, and that's just in our blood. It comes natural.
Okay, so you
manage everything. We can call it entrepreneurship, but it's also project management because everything in our lives is a project. Yeah. Your business is a project, right?
And I think, it's like you just reorganize the priorities based on the day, the week, the month.
I love it.
But that's what it is. And I know that no matter how much support I have from family, from my husband, like, no one does it the way I do it.
Okay.
So I'm happy to do it all, but yes, there's always those a million tabs open type of feeling.
Take care of. Now, are your parents, is your family still in Canada?
Yes.
So they never moved here to the US?
No, they're so happy there. They've been established there, since like I would say late 70s. And I think that they love that I'm here so that they can vacation here more
Okay.
often. And I think
Okay.
it's like that encouragement they need to spend more time, especially in the winter. So all of the family comes here, right, for that holiday winter season.
So they're like the snowbirds, and they
Mhm.
come here. Do they spend a lot of months here?
I would say they do a few weeks at a time.
Okay.
So they sprinkle it out throughout the season, but they avoid the summers here. It's usually nicer over there.
Are they retired already, or are they still working?
So my mom's, she calls herself retired, but she's found like other things to work on, worry about in family business. And my dad, he has a great management team for his businesses, so I feel that he can't really let go. You know, he doesn't want to. I think he feels like, oh, that's when I'll become old
Okay.
if he retires. You know, he doesn't like the word, and he's like mid to late 70s. But
He's still
I don't
going
know. I
strong.
think that's what keeps him going. You know, it's like keeps you mentally sharp. He still has like a foot in all of his businesses. And I really respect that. I love that he has like a reason to wake up and get going.
No, I think that's very important. That's why we were talking about no matter how old we are, right? It's that reinvention and that continuous moving forward. And how proud they must be of you. No.
Well, it goes both ways. I mean, they have given me that like skill set. I've grown up in their various businesses. And I think that the mentorship that I unknowingly received was what set me up for everything I am today.
Amazing. So if you had an advice to give to your younger self, what would that be?
Okay. Delegate sooner because you want to do it all and you can't. So my delegation process when I finally learned was like, why am I doing the $5 jobs, the $10 jobs, the $20 jobs, the $50 jobs, you know, the $100 jobs even. As I kept growing, I realized like those things are not for me anymore. And that changed a lot in terms of like the balance and shift in my time. And then the other thing, like making decisions fast. I think there's such an advantage when you can do things with speed because you can be first to market, you can be the first to do something, but also in the large and small decisions. I think that as soon as you remove like the slower process of like weighing out pros and cons and get really good at being like yes or no, so much mental anguish is gone, and you can really move at the speed of light, if you will.
Okay. I love it. And thank you so much for sharing that, right? Because we rarely look back to where we came from. Sometimes we're so focused on where we are, right? And we forget. We forget everything we've been through, everything that we've learned, and who we were when we were younger. So to have that opportunity to send ourselves a letter or like a private message to be like, oh my God, you know, if somebody would have told me this, it would have been amazing. What's the message you would have for your daughter at this point in your life? And I know your daughter's still young, and you're still young too as well. But what's the one thing like you want to convey to her as a woman?
I think as a person, first and foremost, a strong work ethic. I think that's how I was raised, and that really gave me a foundation for whatever I was going to do, whether work for someone else, work in a big corporate environment. Don't do anything half-ass. Like I feel that's for me the simplest way to say it is that if you put your passion or your full energy behind whatever it is you're doing, like you're already better than most people. Right? In terms of work ethic, in terms of the energy you put into something, and then of course the output you'll get back. I think that would be the same foundation that I would want for her. And I think kind of the same things I would have told my younger self. I want her to learn them young in terms of making decisions quickly, in terms of like what things she doesn't need to do as she grows older. And especially in the world we are in now, I mean, with AI, with everything else, like
It's changed.
there's her life is going to look so different because she already talks to ChatGPT and has conversations. But tell me about this animal. Okay, well, what about this? And why is this like this? And she's so curious, but she has like answers like before we even had Google, which is so wild to me. So I think I think like keeping that curiosity flowing is going to be so important, but also making sure that she has like those soft skills, because we can all learn the technical skills, right? I mean, we have to, but there's going to be this need for humans, for that soft skill, for that like warmth. And I feel that probably, especially in industries like mine, once everyone else becomes robotic, I think our value goes up, because like who else is going to touch your face, right? With a real hand and like do real work on you. So having that, I think, will keep you different, right? And unique.
I love that. That, and whatever you do, do it all the way and do it with passion. So we always like to end our interviews with an I will statement.
Okay.
And think about you going forward. If you were to say, I will do this, or any thoughts there, what would your I will statement be?
Oh, I wish I had prep. In this chapter of my life, I'm in this very, I'm in a great place where I think everything is being received with a positive mindset. And I'm already know I'm resilient. I already know I can do hard things. So now it's just everything with grace and everything with love. So if I want to put it into an I will move with love.
I love that. I will move with love. That's amazing. And I'm going to hold your hand with that one.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. Now we'd like to open it up for questions. Let me see. Ali, do we have any questions on the line?
Yes, we have few questions from Elaine. First question was, do you do silk press?
Say it again. You're going to have to say it a little louder so we could hear you. Thank you.
It's question for Fatima. Do you do silk press?
Oh, do you do
If your business do?
No, that's hair, right?
Okay.
So I'm no longer in hair industry at all.
Okay.
We do everything. When we say from the neck up, it's some more like aesthetics. So we do blowouts, but everything else is for the face, like just the name Face Brown Beauty Bar. So threading, waxing, lash lifts, laminations, all the microblading, permanent makeup, teeth whitening, and what else?
Teeth whitening too?
Yeah, we do teeth whitening too. That's what that fancy thing is.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, I guess that answers her second question of do you do Brazilian blowout hairstyles? Because
Blowouts, yes, not with chemical. Just to give you guys an idea, my philosophy has always been more on the organic, clean, natural side. So we usually don't do anything that is like a heavy chemical or synthetic process.
Okay. Thank you, Fatima. And she commented, this service is needed at conferences so women and men can get their groove on and look their best throughout the whole conference.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. Her next question is, are you considering a 24/7 shop?
That's a great question.
It's funny because in this area in particular, we have a lot of people who work in nightlife. So we have had to adjust our hours in terms of opening later in this particular location, but then staying open later. Whereas in Brickell, it's more professional. So that area we opened earlier. And it's funny that all the areas of Miami, we've had to adjust based on that. But 24 hours, I don't think we're there yet. I think for so many reasons related to like just staff having a little bit of their life balance and how you would be performing if you were working, the wee hours. But also, I think generally speaking, it's people will go to a gym at different hours, but I don't know that they have this desire to get their face waxed at 3 a.m. I could be wrong.
Awesome. So feel free to unmute yourself, guys, to maybe if you want to expound your questions, but we do have a few more questions. Marcelo asked, what is one thing you want to tell your future self?
Oh, that one's different than when she was a child. Yeah. Let's see.
Future self, I think that is now But just I've been, mindset shifts. I think there's really no problems. There's always solutions. So when I actually sometimes talk to myself like future self. So for example, like, a couple months ago, I broke my foot, I tripped, and I just looked in the mirror every day and I said, I'm so happy how it's healing. I feel great. I'm jumping again. And I willed it better.
I love it. I love it.
But yeah, talking in future tense allows me to talk to my future self every day and just like, this is already happening instead of I hope it happens, I want, I wish, or maybe. It's a nice, powerful tactic. And if anyone here follows Case Kenny, I love him and I highly, highly recommend following him because like his Instagram is so motivational. Like I will even sometimes on the vibration board throw one of his podcasts on and just let him remind me that you can be like audaciously positive and will everything into your life.
I love it. So visualizing
is good too.
Love it. That's a great question.
Thank you, Fatima. And Tim asks, what do you miss about Canada?
Not the snow. You know what? I've been here now for almost 16 years, and I will say that, of course, every year I miss Canada less. It's really for me now the people because my family is there. So Canada is definitely more of a feeling and a home in that way because my family's there. But this is so weird, and for Canadians, you're gonna laugh at me because it's not glamorous at all. But I get weird cravings for Swiss chalet. It's so cringe.
What is that? What is that? I'm not Canadian, so I've never heard of that before.
It's a rotisserie chicken place. It's not even good. I don't know why. Like I have romanticized this place. Like, if you have who are my Canadians on here? Jump in and explain what this is.
It's a sauce. It's a sauce.
It's a
Chalet sauce.
Yeah, they've got their own kind of burgers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, their burgers are one of a kind.
See, and I'm just like a quarter leg with a chalet sauce, girl.
Yeah, you don't go to Swiss Chalet for the burgers. You go there for the chicken
Exactly.
and the fries. And the fries.
And the fries.
Absolutely.
I guess next time we go to Canada, I'm going to have to put that on our list.
Don't be disappointed or get upset because it's like nothing special.
In Miami, we have Pollo Tropical. And that's nothing out of this world, but we grew up on Pollo Tropical or Chicken Kitchen. How many of you grew up on Chicken Kitchen? That's on my list.
Okay, so I'm not like the only odd one out. Everyone has their thing.
I love it.
Okay. Jeremiah is asking, for a small business owner, what is one takeaway that you could give? And are there specific organizations we should look out for?
Okay, so I would say for a small business owner, things to look out for. I think that especially when people are first starting, I mean, you have this like beautiful idea of what, especially in a physical brick and mortar, I want this type of wood molding and I want these marble floors and all of those things. And I think that you can burn through a lot of money or rack up a loan if you hyper focus on the things that don't really add value to the business. Mm-hmm. So I would say that if you're starting out, make sure that what you're spending is like with training, marketing and real things that will bring you ROI. So that way your startup becomes something you can scale later on. And remind me the second part, what organizations to look out for, right? I think thank you. I think if you have something like a local BNI, that's a great place to start because they have structure. I'm not a fan of BNI now, but I think that as you use that as like a jumping point or other networking groups, then you find, right, like your networking groups, your people. And also depends on your business because there's so many niche networking groups for tech, for AI, for even I have a group that I'm part of that's just for salon spa CEOs.
Okay.
And then we meet around the country for live workshops, virtual workshops, kind of like what you do, different panels, things like that. But a lot of tangible walkways for things in my industry specifically, which have helped me. And I love United Way for that too, right? Because if you have another passion that you can combine with networking, which like we get to volunteer and meet like-minded people in the same place. I think you know, kill two birds with one stone, and you actually look forward to it. It doesn't become networking anymore.
Awesome. Thank you, Fatima. Let us know, Jamaya, if that answered your question. She has another question. As entrepreneur major, what is something I could do to make my profile more professional as someone just graduating from school?
I guess that depends on who you're pitching yourself to, right? I think that for me, that would be a tough one because I went from corporate to kind of throwing myself into it, and I don't remember what it's like to apply for anything. But I would say on the other side, when I'm looking to hire, I want to see that someone took the time to really research the company, to know something about who we are. I love when people tell me I went on Instagram and I could like feel the warmth, and like I can see you guys specialize in this, or this feels like, you know, a friendly neighborhood spot. I think that whatever they felt from it that they take and share, it becomes so personalized and they stand out. I don't get to do a lot of interviews or anything like that personally anymore, but whenever I hear those tidbits, like takeaways, it always feels like, oh, that person sounds special. Or even just hearing it at these networking things, right? If someone I meet at United Way or another networking group, I looked up your business or I saw this and I really appreciate how you do XYZ. You never forget that person because they've, you know, given you that sort of compliment. They've shown you interest in what you do and who you are. And then the follow-up, if there's an opportunity or paths cross again, I mean, you're already shortlisted. I don't know if that answers what you were asking, but let me know.
I think it did because she's saying thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, I wanted to give you guys the tour. So as I come in from the front of the, here we go, guys. So you guys can
So
see.
Rick is doing the tour. Let's spotlight Rick there for a second. Oh, there we go.
Pretty,
All right.
pretty.
So
Very
we're going to
nice.
go through very clean. Okay.
So
Right.
welcome to the Face and Brow Beauty Bar in downtown Miami. Hi. Hi, Rick.
In the
guys.
jungle over here.
Yes.
There you go,
Got
guys.
this beautiful tree also behind us. All right, this is a beautiful space, by the way.
Thank
Is
you.
this one of your bigger locations?
This is the biggest location,
The
yeah.
biggest
So
location.
for sure, flagship, it's kind of in between in the heart of Miami. And then my office is here as well, upstairs.
Very nice. All right, you guys, you have it in downtown Miami. Those of you that are familiar with Miami, this is right next to the Bright Line station. So if anybody's in Broward, you take the Bright Line. It's a block away, and you can come visit Fatima anytime and make an appointment.
We have one more question from Jamaya before we go. So was pivoting your business easy, or did you have to learn pivoting points in order to scale your business?
I think a pivot is easy when all of you is behind it, but some of them come out of necessity, right? So you pivot when you need to spend money on a repair. You pivot when world crisis like COVID happens. So if anyone knows like the ancient art of brow threading, we used to hold the end of the brow thread in our mouth. And that was just like you use your neck, and it's like such a specific technique in itself. COVID happened and we were wearing masks. And when we reopened, we had to learn a new method of tying it around the neck using double hands. So that was something so specific to us and how we had to learn something new in not even weeks or months, right? In like hours, because it was, you know, not considered now the right way to do things. And it's been amazing since, but we really didn't like it at first. So I think that was a big push to get everyone to operate with the same level of efficiency and technique keeping our skill set there, but learning something new. In fact, COVID for us, right? Because we deal with a lot of like sanitation, hygiene things, just related to how we were touching clients. So a lot of things that we do today have remained from COVID, but still, keeping that warmth and human touch kind of alive.
That's interesting. So you actually stayed open during COVID.
We closed for 2 months.
Okay.
When it was just sort of a mandate. But then when we were able to open is when we were, we would get on Zoom calls during our closure and we'd say, okay, well, let's talk about skincare. Let's talk about this. And then we started looking up different ways that we could tie this thread and make it work. Because we all thought when we're about to open, how will we do this? So we learned with each other over Zoom and whatever other, chat platforms were around in COVID that you could play games on the side and still have a conversation. And so in that way, it actually helped us stay connected with our staff, with the team, and be excited to open up again. But also now, let's iron out the protocols and make sure everyone feels safe. And thank God for technology.
So talk about the power of reinvention, right? You actually had to reinvent your approach to a technique because of the situation that was happening. That's a great example
That's
there
true.
of shifting and pivoting and reinventing.
That's true.
Very good.